So Zacchaeus, short little dude, little guy, right, walking around, and have you ever thought about how he felt? My imagination again. Remember when we were kids? And I don't know if they do in your culture, but in my culture, kids are mean to each other. I mean, they're mean to each other. And if you're different, everybody's going to point it out. Well, Zacchaeus was a short little guy. And can you imagine how he was picked on, made fun of? You think that he maybe was ever made fun of? Probably. I mean, at least in my culture, he would have been made fun of, right? I mean, that's what they do. And I can imagine that he probably his whole life had been ridiculed and made fun of. And then so what does he do? He starts to hate people, starts to get bitter. And maybe he decides, you know what? I'm going to get the worst job that I can so I can stick to people and I can gouge people and I can cheat people and I can get people back because I hate them. That's Zacchaeus. That's Zacchaeus' story. I think that's pretty reasonable. So Zacchaeus is now a tax collector, and not just any tax collector, he is the tax collector. He's like the IRS on steroids, right? And so, I mean, it's crazy dude. And he's going into people's houses, he said, hey, you owe me this much money, and he's taking more than what they really owe. And he's pocketing it, he's putting it in his own pocket, and he's becoming rich off of everyone else. He's stealing from them. You think these people like Zacchaeus? You think that their natural reaction when they see Zacchaeus is, hey, Zacchaeus, it's great to see you today. I trust that we'll have a great day today. Or when Zacchaeus came around, they were angry. They probably tried to get away from him. They didn't like him. They maybe even hated him. You know, I think there's a strange part in the story that we miss here. It says that he heard Jesus was coming through town. He tried to get where he could see Jesus, and he couldn't. Now, most people, if you're in a line and and there's a parade, and what do? We let the people who are a little shorter up front. We let the children up front. We let the people that are shorter up front, but not Zacchaeus. We're not letting you up front. You're a jerk. We don't like you. We hate you. You cheat us. Get in the back. Maybe even pushing him away. And so what does he have to do? He has to climb up a tree. You see Jesus. And Jesus does the same thing he did with the woman at the well. You see Zacchaeus? He says, Zacchaeus, come on down. I'm coming to your house. We're going to have waffles. We're going to have a great old time, right? We're going to do something great. And I love that it actually tells us in this story, in the Bible, what other people's reactions were. It says that they weren't happy. They were angered by Jesus and the way he treated Zacchaeus. And I wonder how we would feel if our neighbor had stolen from us. If our neighbor had cheated us. Our enemy, the guy that we least, you know that guy, that one guy who's done you wrong? Jesus' natural bent, his default, was again love. And again, I wonder if Zacchaeus had ever really experienced love. And Jesus offers him something better. He offers him love, and he offers him friendship. To Zacchaeus, he offers friendship. Zacchaeus' way led to isolation and hate. Jesus' way was a better, full, abundant life and restored community. Our default might have been anger, resentment, or ridicule. But Jesus offered Zacchaeus love. So one more story. And then I want to kind of wrap this all and talk about it a little bit. And this is the story in John chapter 8, verse 1 through 11. Again, a familiar story. Again, an opportunity that we see Jesus dealing with someone caught in sin. And how did he deal with it? John chapter 8, verse 1 through 11 says this. Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, but early the next morning he was back again at the temple. A crowd soon gathered and he sat down and taught them. As he was speaking, the teachers of religious law and Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery. I mean, she'd been caught. Where's the guy? You ever wonder that? Because if you're caught, there should be a guy too, right? But they bring her. So she's caught in the act of adultery. They put her in front of the crowd. Teacher, they said to Jesus, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say? That means to take a rock and beat her with rocks, throw rocks at her till she dies. They were trying to trap him into saying something they could use against him, but Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. They kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. When the accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest. I think that's a great line. Until only Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the woman. Then Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, "Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you?" So now we see a woman who's caught in adultery, and we see what man's default is to say, "I'm better than you. You're caught in adultery. I'm better. I'm not an adulterer. I may have some small things, but we caught you doing something bad. You know, we're gonna take you down, and we're gonna prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law, and we're gonna kill you." Jesus, what do you think about this? You know, they're trying to trick Jesus, right? Because they're trying to, like they always do. The religious people are always trying to trick Jesus. By the way, Jesus loves sinners. Who are the only people he ever condemns in the New Testament? Religious people. Isn't that crazy? So I think that's pretty telling. So when the accusers heard this, they slipped. So here's what he does. He says, "You know, those of you that have not sinned, the one who hasn't sinned, cast the first stone." And there's this picture of him sitting down in the dirt and kind of drawing in the dirt. He does it twice. I mean, you know, I don't know what he wrote. He doesn't tell us what he wrote. There's tradition tells us that maybe he was possibly writing some of the sins of these guys and reminding them that, hey, there's some things about you that people need to know. You know, I don't know if that's what he did, but he did something, because then he says, "Those of you that don't have any sin, cast the first stone." And everybody one by one walks away, starting with the oldest. I think the oldest said, "Man, I'm getting out of here." This guy, and then the younger guys follow the older guys. But Jesus then says to her, "Get up, go and sin no more." And he offers her love, and he offers her grace, and he offers a new start. Where man were condemning and judging and pointing fingers, Jesus offers love and a new start. That's his default. So, Jesus offers the woman a better way. To the adulterous woman, Jesus offers forgiveness. Forgiveness. She was about to be killed with rocks. If Jesus hadn't been there, they would have killed her. But Jesus offers her forgiveness. Her way led to public ridicule and death. But Jesus had a better way. An abundant life free from her sin. Our default might be gossip, or finger pointing, or judgment in a situation like that. But Jesus' default was love. So let's back up and let's talk about all of this together. Jesus always offers a better way. I don't know who's in this room. I don't know if there are people in this room that are living a life that is unpleasing to God. I don't know. But I do know, the Bible says in Proverbs 14:12, that there's a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death and destruction. Every one of us in here, I have this bent in us to live the way we think we're supposed to live. And we walk around this earth and we say things like, "Hey man, I got to do it my way," or "I know what's best for me." Have you ever heard that before? I know what's best for me. And the Bible says that your way leads to destruction and death. That your way is wrong. But Jesus came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. In John 10:10, it says, "The thief comes to steal, to kill, and destroy." Who's the thief? The thief is the enemy, Satan, Lucifer. He's a deceiver. And the Bible says he comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. In these three stories, we've seen a story of a guy who was a thief. The Bible says the thief comes to steal. We see a story of a woman who's about to be killed. The Bible says the thief comes to steal, kill. And we've seen a story of a woman whose life is destroyed. And she has no place to go. She has to go to get water on her own. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. We have a true enemy. And he's out to steal our lives, he's out to kill us, and he's out to destroy us. But the rest of that verse says, but Jesus came that you might have life and have it more abundantly.